Thank you, Lauren. And then I would like to introduce our Chief Learning Officer and the individual who oversees the Office of Education, Training, and International Services, Dr. Diane Klotz.
So the reason I have this here, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our leadership development programs. It's something that I think I can speak for the whole office in saying that we're very, very proud of them. We've put a lot of time and effort into them, which we hope translates to programs that our postdocs, graduate students as well, really appreciate and walk away learning something about themselves. And so the reason I wanted to start with a picture of this cohort is to talk about the structure of the leadership development program itself first, before I go into details about the programs. So it is a cohort structure, which means that you go through the entire program with the same group of individuals the entire time. So there are some programs that you can participate in, which I think are fantastic, where you can do them in a modular basis, which means you can take the different modules or the different components in any order until you have eventually completed the program. We've taken the approach where you start and finish and go through each module in a stepwise fashion that build on each other with the same cohort. So not only to continue building in what we believe to be a logical fashion throughout your development as a leader, but also to help you create a cohort and a network for yourself. The other part I want to highlight is that this program is entirely virtual. So for any of you who do choose to come to Sanford Burnham Previs to do your postdoctoral training, we still welcome you into the program. It used to be in person and only for individuals in the local San Diego, really the Torrey Pines Mesa area. But once the pandemic hit and we had to go virtually, we decided let's try opening it up to individuals anywhere in the country and really the world, as I'll mention in a moment. And it worked really well. And although there are always challenges of doing a long-term program virtually, the feedback we got was that postdocs really enjoyed being able to develop a network of like-minded fellow postdocs and other young science or early career scientists, I apologize, from across the country and across the world that they wouldn't have met otherwise. So we continue to do this as a virtual program. So if you could advance to the next slide. You don't have to worry about reading this slide. This is just a screen capture of what you'll see if you go to the website, svpleaders.org. And we do have two programs. We originally started with just one program, which is now called our Foundations of Leadership program. And we've now included a second program. We had such an overwhelming request to have continued leadership development opportunities following completion of the first program. So we've added a second program, which we call Expanding Leadership. And I'm not going to go into too many details. You can go to the website and read about them. But the thing I want to highlight about our programs is that I will first say, not everybody is a match for the program, and the program is not a match for everyone. We specifically do not take a prescriptive approach at being a good leader. And what I mean by that is what we do through this program is, in essence, introduce you to yourself. We give you many opportunities through not only formal assessments, but also discussions and case studies to get to learn more about yourself and how you do things in the context of a variety of different scenarios that you'll find yourself in as a leader. So that's everything from just stepping into a leadership role, identifying conflict, addressing conflict, being influential when you need to be influential, providing feedback to others, and receiving feedback yourself. And so we take you through a bunch of assessments and opportunities to learn not only how you respond, or I think the majority of us in the majority of situations tend to react more so than we respond, but how you react to those situations, but why you react the way you do. And that's the foundation of the leadership program. So what we're trying to do through these programs is help you become the leader you want to be and the best version of yourself, versus giving you a prescription for the 10 things to do to be a great leader. So if you'll advance the slide, we just have a few details about the leadership development programs. So the first program that I talked about, Foundations of Leadership, that was launched in 2015 as a small pilot program. It was just 3 modules, and it's since expanded, and we've held it every year since then. So it is a full year, almost a full year. It's 11 modules. You meet once a month. And these are the statistics of the participants that we've had throughout the years. We do mention institutions worldwide. We've had a couple of participants who have been at institutions in Western Europe and Canada as well. And you'll note that out of the 204 program participants, 70 of those have been Sanford Burnham Prebys postdocs. So I highlight this to say, you know, about a third of our participants are still always postdocs from this institute, but we do have a large cohort every year of participants from other institutes across the world. Next slide, please. And so the expanding leadership program, the second one, we're only in our second year now, and this program we do every other year. And so you can see the demographics of the participants we've had from here. We even had the first year, one of our junior faculty members participated from Australia. So it was, I think, 3 in the morning for him. But he was really committed to participating. And so the expanding leadership program is open to anyone who has participated in the Foundations and Leadership program. And we keep the cohorts relatively small. We want, for the Foundations and Leadership program, we want the cohort to be anywhere from 30 and under participants. And for the expanding leadership, we go for somewhere around 15, give or take. A couple of participants. And the purpose of that is so that we can make sure that even in the virtual setting, this is not a webinar situation. There is a lot of discussion, breakout rooms. We want to make sure that we can capitalize on all of the potential interaction opportunities that we have. Next slide, please. So I don't expect you to necessarily read through all of these. I just wanted to present some data. We do evaluate ourselves through our participants before they start the program, at the end of the program, and in this case, it was 6 months following the program. And we asked them some general questions about ability to describe leadership style, stepping into a leadership role without a title, whether or not they believe they can recognize conflict and address conflict well, and if they can apply their knowledge about leadership to build an effective team. And so one of the things that we're always glad to see is that if you just take a look at the data, very quickly, anything yellow and red is that individuals pre-program, in this case, many stated, as we would expect, that they were not sure that they could do any of those things. And by the end of the program, we had expanded the number of participants who agreed and strongly agreed that they could do all of these things and eliminated anyone who, I shouldn't say that, we didn't eliminate people. We eliminated anyone's belief that they weren't able to do those things after the program. So in a perfect world, we would continue asking these evaluations of participants years out to see how they're still using the information. But we're not at that point yet. But I wanted to show some of the data as far as participants reporting on the impact that the programs had for them. And then last slide is just a screenshot of this year's participants. And again, the most important part of the leadership program is the participants and the cohort structure and the contributions that each of them gives to the program. So I wanted to make sure to start and finish by highlighting the participants that we actually do in the program, have in the program. So I will end there and happy to answer any questions, or you can ask them at the end, as Nisha mentioned, and she'll be perfectly able to answer any questions you have about the program.